Well, here goes nothing. As many of you know, by the time this movie was officially released, this movie got so much negative reception all over it. It currently holds a 3.9 rating on IMDb and an 8%, I believe, on Rotten Tomatoes. At first, I was completely blown away by all these negative reviews that everyone was saying it was worse than the other two Fantastic Four movies. I could not believe it, especially with a talent like Josh Trank behind the camera. As not only a film nerd, but a fan of superhero movies in general, I was very curious and I wanted to be a part of the conversation. And oddly enough, and I really cannot believe that I'm saying this movie is so terrible. There are tons and tons of things that I completely hated about this movie, but let me just say that the biggest problem with this movie is a lack of a clear vision. It is literally just all over the place. At times, particularly at the beginning of the movie, it felt like it was starting to develop something. It felt like it was going to go somewhere, but then immediately after it's introduced, it's just gone. They never touch on it again. They refuse to go back to it. It's just non-existent. But whenever it was trying to develop something, it felt like Josh Trank was there, and then Fox just decided to immediately end that development, subplot, character moment, whatever it was, and just try to continue on with the story as best as possible and hope no one realizes, oh, we didn't have time to develop this character or anything like that. It's sloppy. It's a mess. They should have just let Josh Trank do his own thing. I'm so furious right now. They couldn't even properly develop their characters. Granted, these are all great actors, and they all seem to have wonderful chemistry with each other, at least throughout most of the movie. But for sure, by the final act of this movie, they are gone. They don't care about this movie anymore. It's probably because of what happened on set, I'm pretty sure, and I don't blame them, to be quite honest. They couldn't even have a great villain for this movie. They completely wasted the character of Doctor Doom. To be totally honest, this movie's not a full-blown disaster. At least, from start to finish. Like I said, there are a lot of great developing moments in the movie that I thought that if they were extended and actually carried throughout the movie, they could have made this movie 10 times better than what it was. And of course, Fox came in and clearly ruined Josh Trank's vision for the Fantastic Four. But it is literally past the halfway mark where this movie begins to suffer. And of course, anyone who's seen the film will probably say the same thing about the third act. It just sucks. And it's a real shame that I came out of this movie absolutely hating it, especially with a great cast like this and a really great director, Josh Trank, who's very promising. I just can't believe this movie really fell apart like it did, and the fact that 8% on Rotten Tomatoes? I mean, I still can't believe this movie's so bad. It's just a mind-boggler for me. It's something I'll just never understand. I'll never probably know the full details on what happened on set, but as far as I'm concerned on that, I kind of don't know where they're going to go with the Fantastic Four now, so I'm very skeptical. Maybe they'll go back to Marvel, but I have no idea. But for right now, I'm just reviewing this movie, and I must say, this movie is, well, technically not the worst superhero movie, but it's one of the worst, and probably the most disappointing movie of 2015. Even with very little promise, this movie still ended up being a major letdown, and I'm going to give it a 2.5 out of 10. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, tell all your friends. Hopefully I'll review a better movie in the near future.